oh, this might sting a little bit. Yeah, this might hurt just a little bit, just a little bit. If you're weak-minded, if you're emotional, Y'all already know y'all tuning in to Punch Wrong Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moshine himself. And if y'all familiar with the channel, I always say we break things down unbiasedly, logically, and objectively. And y'all know that boxing translates to life itself. I've always been saying that since day one, right? There's people in the community, in the YouTube boxing community, the YTBC, a small community that's frustrated with Teofimo Lopez, controversial racial undertones in the past, present, whether it's alleged, whether it's trolling, whether it's factual, whether it's joking. There's people out there that just frustrated with him and want him out the sport of boxing or want him to be disciplined by a sanctioning body, especially the WBO, right? Says he holds the WBO strap. And there is a small community within the community that feels like that a black fighter should not fight Teofimo Lopez because by a black fighter fighting Teofimo Lopez is going to get paid. He will get richer, increase his funds, he increases generational wealth. And they don't want that. Don't fight Teofimo Lopez because you're just doing him a favor. Man. But I believe that in that small community, look, folks, I don't want everybody to catch feelings because I see my comment section. I seen a couple of videos. There's a lot of emotional people in this community and stuff like that. There's a lot of male volleyball fans that's infiltrating the sport of boxing because I don't understand a lot of these people saying, I don't want to see the fight. No, Teofimo Lopez, I don't care. No, he should be out the sport of boxing. No one should fight him. Anyway, I'm a fight fan. I want to see a fight. if I support a fighter, I want to see him fight. If I dislike a fighter, I want this other fighter to beat this other fighter I dislike or don't like. That's because I'm a fight fan at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody putting no money in my pocket. And I know none of these fighters are putting money in your pocket. We come out of pocket to pay for fights. But anyway, I think that this small community should want, because there's other black folks that want a black fighter to beat Teofimo Lopez and fight Teofimo Lopez and make an example out of Teofimo Lopez in the ring, right? But there's a small community that don't want it. I do believe that the people that are frustrated should want a black fighter like a Jerome Bruce Ennis, like a Terrence Bud Crawford, like a Gervonta Tank Davis, like a Keyshawn Davis, like a Devin Haney. That I don't know if Devin Haney has the power to hurt Teofimo Lopez. You want somebody to hurt Teofimo Lopez if you a person that's frustrated with Teofimo Lopez, right? So you can be pride for your do it for the black folk, do it for the black people.
When I knock this nigga out, watch this shit.
Good fucking job. Good fucking job.
But there's people that don't want it, that don't want that. And I'm highly confused, but I know what it is as well. See, let me tell you like this. I always said, if you're familiar with the channel, I always been saying that, you could become what you hate. And I feel like this small community, the ones that act like they frustrated and don't want this person to get the fight or whatever because you worried about their pockets and how much they're going to be earning, right? You have become what you hate, because that power trip comes from the quote unquote white racists, right? Keep you from earning because they don't like you. Ooh, you get it? Oh, y'all don't get it. Let me say it again. Hold on. Let me say it again. And I want to say it slow because I want you to fully understand me, right? There are a small community of black folks in the boxing community that don't want other black fighters to fight Teofimo Lopez due to his past and current racial undertones, right? You don't want him to get an opportunity, right? You don't want him to earn money. You don't want him to capitalize off his racial undertones. Yet, there's black folks in the past that even though there was white racists, you asking them for jobs, you asking them to and fight for you to be in their schools, for you to be employed by them, for you to receive Oscars and Grammys or whatever it is by them, right? You're still begging for the white man to give you affirmative action. See, I get it. It's a power trip. You get it? It's a power trip. See, you know that. See, you're no different from white people.
I would never let a white boy be
See, the small community
I would
has
never let a
become.
white boy be me.
Look at me all getting shook just like a white boy would.
Am I hurting somebody's feelings out here, or am I speaking truth?
Saying,
Or maybe the
I'll
truth
never let a
hurts.
white boy be
All right,
me.
right.
I'll
Let's
never
give
let a
you
white boy
another
be
example.
me.
Another example that I know a lot of people is familiar with. Right? The N-word is no longer an offensive word. Yeah, the N-word is no longer truly, primarily an offensive word. Let me break it down. The reason the N-word is alive and discussed is because it's now used as a power trip. It wasn't to take the power out of the word. It was transfer of power. And now certain blacks, because not all blacks, because there's a lot of respectable brothers that never wanted that word to gain popularity or power or use it as a word of endearment. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say small community, because I believe the major part of the culture of the community or black community, you know what I'm saying, inner cities and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that don't like the word. They don't like the A or the ER. They want that word to be buried. But for you to understand what I'm trying to say, let me keep on going. See, it wasn't to take the power out of the word, right? You know, there's people that have been saying that they took the word and took the power out of the word and stuff like that. So it wasn't to take the power out of the word. It was a transfer of the power. And now certain blacks are in a power trip and controlling how and who can use that word. For example, they want to give you a pass when you use it. Like today, a Puerto Rican like Fat Joe could use the word, and then tomorrow he uses it, and you could point the finger and bully point and say, oh, you're racist. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like if you come to New York City, especially in New York, because of course I'm from New York and stuff, and I understand that not every place is New York, and that's respectable and that's understandable. But y'all know the culture and stuff like that. Come on, we in the hit. And look, it's just like listening to music. Everybody uses it, right? We have a camaraderie. Latinos and blacks have a camaraderie, but also there could be a time where black says, well, wait, you can't use that word. You a Latino, and probably you too light-skinned Latino, so you can't use it. The PowerPoint. The reason why that word is still alive today is because it's one of the most lucrative words in social media and content and society and stuff like that. People capitalize off race. People capitalize off that word. See, they can't diminish that word. See, that word now is used as power. And this is what it is. When you, there could be any race in every corner of the world that has power, will do the same thing that the white man did in America, just like the Arabics did with the blacks, and just like the Asian countries and European countries and Yugoslavia. Look what happened to Yugoslavia, and everybody is oppressed. So what I'm saying is the same nature. It's the same nature. You believe that Teofimo Lopez is this and racist, so a black fighter shouldn't fight him because he wouldn't gain. Now, imagine if the white races were the same way and they would have stood their ground and not give you jobs and don't put you in schools and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, stop the BS. Stop the BS. See, the opportunity is not, if you're that small community that don't like Teofimo Lopez, the opportunity is not for Teofimo Lopez to gain. The opportunity is for that black fighter to beat the crap out of Teofimo Lopez from pillar to post. You should want Teofimo Lopez to end up like Michael Watson. You should want Teofimo Lopez to end up like Richardo Colon in the ring. See, if that's what you're frustrated and you're mad about, you're a fight fan. So you feel disrespected. You feel that Teofimo Lopez is disrespecting Terrence Bud Crawford, even though Terrence Bud Crawford also disrespected the family, the niece and sister, and calling them a bitch and stuff like that. But I believe that they need to hash it out, because I think that part of Teofimo Lopez and Terrence Crawford could spill out in the street, could really do damage outside of the ring, because that's a family feud now. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Teo and Terrence Crawford should hash that thing down right now. You know what I'm saying? Both of them need to apologize for one another, because at the end of the day, maybe nothing is going to happen to Teofimo Lopez, and maybe nothing is going to happen to Terrence Bud Crawford. But Terrence Crawford's family, or probably sisters, want to get at Tio's sister, and then the fathers, and they need to be grown men right now and really make amends or whatever. If this ain't that serious, if this is just both of these guys need to speak and really make it public, right? For their families to stand down and friends to stand down, because that type of disrespect is beyond boxing, right? But in terms of wanting to see that, I believe that if you, a black fighter that is complaining, if you are a black fighter that's complaining about Teofimo Lopez, but don't want to fight him, you don't want to fight for the black race, your people, talking down? What do they call those that don't fight for their race, especially in the black community, when people want to justify certain things and don't want to do nothing about it or don't want to speak up? They call them Uncle Tom. They call him Sambo. They call him Raccoon. So I say, if those fighters that has a problem with Teofimo Lopez, in the camp that has a problem with Teofimo Lopez and don't want to do nothing about it, and reluctant to step inside the ring with Teofimo Lopez to teach him the lesson that you feel he should be taught, and you give him a pass, well, consider yourself as a raccoon.